Hello and welcome to this James the Bike Guy, where today we're getting to take a look at the mid-spec version of Specialized Performance Race Bike Series. In front of us is the 2022 Specialized Tarmac Expert Disc. This is an $8,300 wonder bike that gives you a lot of the performance of the S-Works level top-end deal while still saving a touch of money over a bike like that. So in this video, we're going to go into the features and designs of this bike, check out what it's all about, and then of course, we'll find out exactly what it weighs. So if this kind of thing is interesting to you, stick around and let's check this bike out together. So the Specialized Tarmac. Now, this is one gorgeous road bike. These have been around for quite a long time in Specialized lineup and represent the antithesis of their performance road bike series. Now, in Specialized lineup today, they've got this bike, which is the Tarmac SL7. They then have their Specialized Ethos, which is the totally lightweight and simplified version of a road bike. And then they have the more comfortable Specialized Roubaix. Now, speaking geometry-wise, this is going to be the most aggressive bike. So this is going to have the longest reach and the lowest stack, with the Ethos being just ever so slightly shorter and taller, and the Roubaix being considerably more upright and comfortable. Essentially, everything here on this bike is about being fast, being light, and being able to climb really, really well. And for this model, the SL7, which is their latest frame, it incorporates a bit of climbing bike as well as some aero performance too. And seeing that this bike comes in as the performance race bike in their lineup of different road bikes, this is a really cool rig. Now, earlier when I was saying this combines aero as well as the performance of climbing, we should take a look at some of the profile of the bike. You'll see it's got all integrated cable housing, all of that kind of flows through, and then you have neat things like these truncated airfoil seat posts as well as frame, a cutout in that seat tube so that the wheel can be tucked further in, and a good mixture of aerodynamic performance, but still keeping smooth lines, small tubes, and things like that to be able to help with its weight and performance characteristics. Now, in the weight side of things, this bike is going to come in with a claimed weight of 920 grams for the frame set. And that's because this is made out of the FACT 10R carbon fiber. The 10R carbon fiber is going to be the same frame that they use all the way from comp level on up to pro level. And then it's just below their 12R carbon that they use on their S-Works frame. And the kicker here is basically the S-Works frame is going to save you roughly about 120 grams coming in at a claimed weight of 800 grams. And aside from that, much of the ride quality and the performance is going to be similar between the 10R and the 12R. And a few more features to mention. So front and rear are both going to be disc with through axles, which is nice to see. A 12x100 up front, 12x142 out back. An ever so important threaded bottom bracket in the center. And then when we come to the handlebars, we did talk about the integrated cable routing, but one thing that's really neat with how they do it is if you take a look, the cable routing comes in under the stem and then in through your headset spacers. Now that's nice because that allows you to run any handlebar that you'd like to on the bike. The stem links are of course going to be easily adjustable, and because there's just a small bolt that comes out below, allows for some adjustment of both the height, the stack of this bike without as much disassembly as many integrated cockpits. Now keep in mind, when you get a bike that's this clean throughout, it is going to be a little more challenging to work on than the alternative of an externally cable routed bike, but the trade-off is cables are out of the way and it's really focusing on speed. Moving into the cockpit of the bike, this integrated setup is gorgeous, as we've just been geeking out about, but it's going to start with a 31.8 alloy handlebar. This is going to be Specialized Alloy Expert shallow drop handlebar, and by shallow drop that means that it's going to have a drop from here to here of only 125 and then a reach of 75 millimeters. That's going to give you a nice compact position to match up with that longer frame so that you're still going to be able to get your reach in properly. Then you have the aluminum stem. This is the Tarmac integrated stem, and then out back is a Specialized Power saddle. This body geometry saddle is the Power Expert. It has titanium rails, and then it's mounted up on the S-Works Tarmac carbon fiber seat post with a 20 millimeter offset. Moving into the drivetrain and components of the bike, This being the Expert version, this is an $8,300 build, which means it's gonna come with some pretty nice stuff. And the first thing to talk about with the nice stuff that comes on this is, of course, gonna be that new 12-speed drivetrain. So this is the new Ultegra 12-speed drivetrain from Shimano. They just recently came out with the Ultegra Endurace version of this drivetrain, and I do have a link down in the description below for the Durace drivetrain, which I got a chance to get my hands on and shares much of the similar technology, just with all the special features to help keep it light. But this being the Ultegra version is just downright gorgeous, starting with this crankset with 52 36 chainring combination. So that's a mid-compact, a bit larger than the traditional chainring combos that you'd get on, say, the Roubaix or the Athos, and then it drives out back to the Shimano Ultegra Di2 electronically shifting rear derailleur. So that rear derailleur is robotic shifting. As I shift it here, you can see it move around, and that's controlling a chain that's going across this 11 to 30 tooth rear cassette. And that's going to give a super wide range of gearing with that 30 tooth out back and a 36 up front. Should still allow this bike to climb pretty well. And then of course the 5211 is going to give you the gearing for fast high-speed descents. Now up front is the Shimano Ultegra shifters. These are the Di2 shifter, and they operate with these two paddles here. So this outside paddle is going to put you into an easier gear, inside paddle a harder gear. You can then set up the left side for the front derailleur, and then it's also going to have buttons like in the hood to be able to control things like your Garmin, or set up those buttons to do whatever you want. And then they're going to be slowing down on Shimano Ultegra 2-piston calipers on the front and the rear. Lastly, on the wheel front, we've got S-Works turbo tires and 700 by 26 millimeters both on the front and the rear. This is a really fast rolling 120 TPI performance tire, and it's going to be mounted up on the Roval C38 rims. The C38 rim is a 38 millimeter deep carbon fiber rim that's laced up with J-Bin spokes to DT Swiss 370 hubs. And these DT Swiss 370 hubs have LN internals, meaning that it's going to have a star ratchet system in the back, which should help give this nice reliability for those hubs and a very stout wheel set. Well, anyways, now that we've taken a look at the features and designs of this bike, let's go ahead and find out exactly what it weighs. The actual weight of the Specialized Tarmac Expert in a size 56 is going to come in and weigh 17.56 pounds. And that's a fairly good weight considering the comp version, the one level down, came in nearly 2 pounds heavier in a size that was one size smaller. Thanks so much for joining me on this video to check out the 2022 Specialized Tarmac Expert. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts of this dream bike down below. While you're at it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and definitely browse the channel to check out more videos like this to see as well.